Can I tell you some lyrics?
Please.
Says, come on now, Willie. Says, don't look at me that way. I know you like a paperback book, but I've read every page. I don't think you're thinking. I don't think you're thinking at all. Now, this is old Hoss that you're talking to, the one with a perfect recall. Says, well, I ain't going down on the border with you tonight. Drinking tequila and taking chances on our lives. The women are crazy. They like to party till daylight. On second thought, if I can find a clean shirt, I might. What a love song.
I guess that whole relationship with Willie has been on second thoughts. No, I won't, but on second thoughts I will.
That's about the way it is, I guess. You know.
One of those phases you talked about, Waylon, would have to be when you and Willie recorded Mama Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys. Was that a starting phase for you as well? Because that had to be one of your big hits.
Yeah, no, you know, Willie and I, like I said, we both came out of Texas, and we were both very unacceptable to Nashville for a long time. And actually, one day we were running around Nashville with nothing to do, and I came up with a brilliant idea of let's go cut a record. So we did, and we did Mamas and A Good-Hearted Woman at the same time. And then he was on like CBS records at that time, and I was on RCA, and what do you cut records for when you can't get them released, you know? We had the same manager, and we told him he was going to fire him if he didn't get our records out. So we got them out. We started something bad.
And that must have been 3 or 4 or 5 million records later in terms of that one?
Yeah.
It's a good one to take a risk on. Take us back. I tried to do it on the satellite the other day, but it was a bit hard talking to all 4 of you at the same time. But take us back to West Texas. You've said in one of the interviews that I saw on tape where you said you really had no choice. That in fact, music was born in your blood.
You know, I can't remember when I first thought, you know, like one morning you wake up and say, I'm going to be a singer, you know. It was just always there, you know. It was something that was just so much a part of me. And I love music. Music moved me where nothing else did, you know. I mean, I liked sports and things, but the music was what I was really after. And in West Texas, and I grew up right after the Depression era. And, you know, you didn't have any money, but everybody was broke and everybody was poor, but nobody paid any attention to it because everybody else was too, you know.
Yes.
But the thing we had was like every other house had a fiddle or a guitar and somebody who knew how to play it. And, you know, on Sunday it was a big thing to go and, you know, have what they call musicals in those days, or guitar pull-ins, what we call them now.
Musicals,
Yeah.
huh? Yes.
And
it seems to be not only American, obviously some European peoples do it as well, but I don't think, you know, in Australia, and certainly I grew up in the bush in Australia, but the tradition wasn't that everybody sang and everybody played music, but it's certainly, Willie Nelson said the same thing about part of Texas he grew up, and for you and Johnny Cash said it as well, that it just seemed that even those who can't sing, sang.
That's it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like it's in the ghettos in the big cities now. It was another thing, it was a way out.
Yes.
You know, it was really a way out.
What, sport or music?
Sports. They have sports is a way out of the ghettos in some of the big cities in, excuse me, in America. Well, in those days, I mean, we wanted out of those cotton patches awful bad. You know, if you've never pulled cotton, then you wouldn't understand, but it's pretty rough, you know. We wanted a way out, and that was it.
Well, what would you have done if you hadn't had this music success? I mean, would you be back there in a gas station?
Probably that or a plumber's helper.
A plumber's helper?
Yeah, I might have been that. Might have been in, you know what, I'd have been in the barbecue business. I'm going to do a commercial.
Here we go. Oh, I was going to ask you about your sauce. Tell us about your barbecue sauce.
I got the best barbecue sauce in the world, and what I want all you people to do is when you go to your grocery store, say, I'll never shop here again if you don't get Waylon's West Texas style barbecue. And all you people out there listening.
Waylon's West Texas style barbecue sauce. Now, it's obviously got chilies in it.
No, I'll tell you, no, it doesn't. No,
Okay.
it doesn't. We have a hot one, but what we have, it doesn't have that old vinegary taste, and if you women, you got to remember this, that you can cook with it, and it doesn't cake up. You can baste with it. It's wonderful. It's the best there is in the world, and my family needs the money.
I was going to say that certainly made a lot of money for Paul Newman, didn't it, with his
he's doing all right.
salad dressing.
He's when it comes to sausage.
Not a barbecue. Do you want to tell us anything about the ingredients? Just tease
I'll tell
us.
you what, there's no preservatives.
Right.
At all.
Natural.
And it's all natural. And it's wonderful. And it came from my family. And my family knows how to eat. right?
So it's good for chicken, it's good for
Anything.
sausages?
It's good for fish, it's good for chicken, and it's wonderful. I tell you what, brisket, you can baste it, and just get it. Trust me. Do I look like someone would lie to you? Willie does. No, I don't.
That's right. Your wife, you mentioned Jessie, we're here with you. She says that you Waylonize everything and anyone. The Rolling Stones, Fleetwood Mac, Bob Dylan. What does that mean? How do you Waylonize someone else's music?
I think I have an energy about my music, and I have an edge to it. I think that's what it is, and she's right, you know. She taught me that. See, my wife's a great songwriter. She wrote me a song one time, and I learned more from recording one of her songs. You know, boys, if your wife's a writer, watch it. Because I recorded it, and I brought it home, and she says, that's great, that's wonderful, but says you haven't Waylonized it yet. And I couldn't figure out what it was, so I went back and took it all the way down to the drums, did it all over again. I came home, and she says, still, that's not it. And I said, well, what do you mean? She says, you just haven't Waylonized it. And so what she means is this: when I took it back again and I worked on it and I kind of got relaxed with it and got it, I took it home, she says, now it sounds like you wrote it.
Mm.
That's Waylonized. Yeah.
Well, we said last time that, I mean, it obviously, what you do, it's clear that you love it, and when you talk about it, it's clear you love it, and it beats working, you know.
Yeah, you tell me.
But why do you do it then? I mean, 100 single hits on the way already. Why stay on the road? Why come halfway around the world to sing?
You know what? I've thought of that. You know, you get tired just like anybody else, and I've thought of it, and I've wondered why I keep doing it, and I know what it is. There's a ham in me, for one thing. You know, once I get out there, and we have a wonderful thing in the music business, is when you get that 101 and you get that instant reaction to what you're doing. That is a bigger part of your pay than anything.
Do you do that, Waylon? Do you actually single someone out in the audience and sing to them, or do you?
No, I sing to the whole audience, you know,
Right.
but I mean, like, every once in a while I'll see a little kid or something I'll cut up with. But the thing is, it's the reaction.
Yes.
There I am. Boy, doesn't that look real?
It does look real. Looks like you're there.
I got the same jacket on. It's the only one I have.
100 million records later, and he's got the same jacket. Okay. Please enjoy your stay. Now, we've got to mention your album out here, which is, I don't have a... There you go. It's called The Eagle, of course, which was almost the anthem for the troops, the American troops in the Gulf, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was, yeah.
That song, The Eagle, of yours, and it's just released in Australia. It's apart from the tour dates for the Highwaymen with Waylon and Willie and Chris and Johnny Cash. 22nd and 23rd of May in Melbourne at the National Tennis Centre. 22nd and 23rd down in Melbourne. 25th of May in Adelaide, the Memorial Drive Tennis Club. We've had lots and lots of letters since we spoke to you from people in Perth saying, how come they don't come to Perth? So I guess people have got to leave Perth and go to Adelaide to have a look at you at this time.
We'll be back.
Come back. We'd love
will.
to see you. Would you please thank Mr. Waylon Jennings? Thank you so much. Just stay there. Thank you. Well, I guess